Hi, everybody. It's Gene Simmons, and you're not, and you're listening to the Potter Than Hell podcast with Steve, BC, BB, and Dylan. But you knew that, didn't you?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Potter Than Hell podcast. This is your last stop on the crazy train of hard rock and heavy metal. So sit back, buckle in, and hang on. Here we go.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Potter Than Hell podcast. I'm Steve, your host, and I'm joined only this week on the keyboards by
Dylan.
This is going to be a special edition this year. We did it last year when Dylan and I were on vacation. We recorded the Metallica one when we did St. Anger and Some Kind of Monster down in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And this year we are recording in Yorktown, Virginia. We are on vacation. We had a great day today at Busch Gardens, and we're here on vacation.
Yeah, we decided we couldn't let something like vacation get in the way of putting out a good episode of Potter Than Hell. So here we are, taking time out of our busy, relaxing schedules.
Yeah, in BC and BB today, we had a pretty significant fire in our town, and that always happens. Every time I go on vacation, we seem to get a fire while I'm gone away. As far as I know, everyone was safe and no one got injured or anything, so, good job, guys.
Yeah, it's always good to see the CFD doing the job that a lot of people need, because everybody doesn't want their house to burn down, right?
Yeah. So, good job, guys, and, BC and BB will be back next week, and it's funny, they get the week off from this, but then they're doing work up there, and we're on vacation, and we're doing the work here.
It's a nice catch-22.
Absolutely. We'll talk about a couple things real quick here before we get going. A couple things. Dee Snider released a new song from the For the Love of Metal album that's going to be out on July 27th. It sounds good. The first song that he released was really good, and the new song is Become the Storm. There's a video out for it. I'll definitely post it. Have you heard the song, Dylan?
No, I heard the first one, though, and the first one was rockin', as definitely heavier than I thought it was going to be from Dee Snider.
Yeah, the songs were heavy as shit, and the new song Before the Storm was really good too, so we'll definitely post that. By the time you guys are listening to this, there probably should be more information out about Mitch Malloy taking over the reins on vocals for Great White. Terry Ilois, I'm sorry, I always butcher his name, seemed like he was kind of just let go unceremoniously, and apparently he just either found out through social media or he didn't find out from the band.
That's good. That's good that they didn't just post a status and then make the guy think, oh my god, I'm out of the band from a Facebook post. Like, that would be ridiculous. But yes. I thought they were going good with him.
They were. I guess they played a show the night before they booted him out, so I don't know what the hell took place. And there's three sides to every story, so we don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. But Mitch Malloy, he's a good singer. We saw him at M3. He seemed like a cool guy. Said hello to him at M3. He was kind of cool. But it's just kind of weird that just like bang, zoom like that. He was.
Seems like a sudden turn of events, almost like it was planned out a little beforehand, and we're only just hearing of it now because it seems too quick of succession.
Yeah. It was kind of crazy. So Hey, best luck to Terry out there. Hope he still does some stuff with XYZ. Those guys were freaking great. We saw them. And actually, he played with Great White and XYZ the same day at M3 a couple years ago. And XYZ, if you guys have not checked them out, give them a listen. They are a really, really good band. They have some really cool stuff out there. So maybe he'll do some more XYZ, I would hope. And I know he's, he had a statement too after Great White put out their statement. The statements are going back and forth now. So, we'll see what happens. And best of luck to Terry and whatever he's going to work on next. And good luck to Mitch in Great White.
Should be interesting to hear at least.
Yeah, definitely. Terry did a great job. I thought he did a great job in Great White. I was kind of hoping maybe this is a stopgap and maybe they can kind of mend fences with Jack Russell and get him back, but
I guess not. I guess Jack Russell's Great White lives on.
Yeah, so which is fine too. Which is definitely fine too.
Yeah, I think Jack Russell is doing really well with the band that he currently has. So I like seeing the different versions of the band.
Yeah. The only thing I was just very disappointed in the Jack Russell album that they just put out.
Yeah, the album.
Which I wanted that album to be
They
so
don't showcase
good.
the rest of the band
really
as well as they could have.
I really wanted them to have a great album, but they just didn't make it. And my opinion, anyways. And let us know what you guys think out there if you've heard the new Jack Russell album or the new Great White album too. There's they both have an album out, the both versions that came out within the last year, and they're actually the Jack Russell one is the Great White one's pretty good. But, you guys definitely check them out. And one more quick thing here. Armored Saint just started their Symbol of Salvation tour. They're doing the whole album in entirety. As the night we're recording here, which would have been, I think, 2 nights ago, they played the first show at the Chans in Poughkeepsie. And the videos look cool. They look, they're just a band that is in top form. And unfortunately, they started the tour when we were leaving for vacation. We had planned to go see them, and we didn't get to. But we'll have to check out their videos.
I heard that the tour is going to be a win, hands down.
Oh,
sorry, it's too
if
late.
you ever get a chance to see Armored Saint, check them out because they absolutely bring it live. So
I thought they blew Queensryche out of the water when we saw them in New York City. Just energy wise, I think Armored Saint has more of a just straightforward rock sound in Queensryche. It's a little more of a think piece, so it's tough to put them on the same bill and compare. It's like apples and oranges, but to me, I thought that they brought the energy a little more than Queensryche that show.
Yeah, the last time we saw them, I talked about it before on another show. I was sick that night. I was feeling okay for Armored Saint, but then by the time Queensryche came on, I just started to feel like shit. And I enjoyed Queensryche, and I felt that even though I wasn't up front like I was for Armored Saint, didn't seem to have the same energy as the Armored Saint show until towards the end. I think the end, I think they really stepped it up. Armored Saint definitely, I think, won the night that night. But like we said on a couple episodes ago when we talked about M3, Queensryche definitely brought their A game that night. It just absolutely kicked ass.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, all right, we'll get right into our episode here. We talked about it. BC has said many times he is not a Blaze Bayley Iron Maiden fan, so Dylan and I thought what a better week than to do an episode on the Blaze Bayley era of Maiden. And we pretty much talked about all the Maiden albums. Actually, we went back and checked it out. We really didn't talk about the first Iron Maiden album for some reason.
I don't know why we didn't.
I don't know, because we talked about Killers and Number of the Beast, Peace of Mind, Power Slave. We didn't really talk about Somewhere in Time either, but we talked about Seventh Son during the...
Just recently in the concept albums.
That one. Then we did the one with Sonny. We did the Millennial Maiden.
Yeah.
So we really didn't do from the end of Seventh Son up until Brave New World. So we're going to talk about all those albums. We're going to talk about No Prayer for the Dying, Fear of the Dark, the transition from Bruce to Blaze, and back.
Yeah.
So, a little background. When they got done with the Seventh Son tour, Bruce went in to do the song Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter. They wanted it for one of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. And I guess the record company asked Bruce, if that song was so good, can you do an album? So he ended up doing Tattooed Millionaire, which he had Yannick Gears play guitar on there for. And after Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, Adrian Smith decided to leave the band. He didn't like the progressive vein that the band was moving towards, so he left the band. Yannick came in with Bruce after his solo effort. And I think, how do you think he fit in the band, Dylan?
I think Yannick brought in this, I would say, energy to the band. He plays a little more frenetically than Adrian Smith or Dave Murray, whereas those two are more straight, rock and roll type riffage. Yannick kind of has like an all over the place feel to him, but it definitely adds a new element to the band.
Yeah, I think he has a fast and loose, more playing style, and I spoke about it once before. His playing seems just like butter. Like if you watch him play, you're like, it doesn't even really seem like he's playing what he's playing. And I'm just not a fan of his marching on stage, that kind of shit and all that. But he did bring a new energy to their stage show, I thought. And I think towards the end, Adrian Smith was getting a little stale on stage, not as playing by any stretch of the imagination. He's definitely my favorite guy in Iron Maiden. But Yannick was I think he was a breath of fresh air, I think, into the band.
Yeah, definitely. I know Adrian wrote one song on this album we're about to talk about, Hooks and You, and then left the band right after that. So it's cool that he was still able to contribute to the album, even though he wasn't quite as confident in the direction that Maiden was going. It's still cool that he was able to put his handprint before he left.
Yeah, because he was there for pre-production, and he wasn't down with it, and he was just like, you know what, I'm out of here. But
and I mean, I wouldn't be into it either if I found out that we were going to be recording in a barn.
Yeah, and they had Steve Harris was going to produce this with Nigel Green, and it wasn't a proper recording studio. It was literally Steve Harris's barn on the farm that he lived on, and he was probably like, you know, this is probably the time to step off.
And they used the Rolling Stones mobile recording studio to record inside the barn, which is really cool that they were able to use some legacy equipment. I don't know if it informed any songs on the album at all, you know, kind of helped with the theme of it, or maybe inspired them to put in some classic rock feel to it, but I don't know if I see any of that with this equipment.
Yeah, I don't know. The production's a little stale. Steve Harris's, I would say, debut producing album. It's good. I believe that this album, actually the next two albums, I don't really consider them metal albums. I consider them more hard rock than metal. I definitely consider them more hard rock than metal. I like it. The next two albums, the songs are not as long. The longest song on No Prayer for the Dying is 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Is Mother Russia, which is probably close to the epic type feel that you will get on this album. You know, historical material, and you have the kind of dueling harmony guitars and everything. So I think it's a good album. I enjoy it. It has one of my all-time favorite Iron Maiden songs on there. When we get into the tracks, we'll talk about it. What do you think about the cover, Dylan?
I think the cover is probably my favorite thing about this album, No Prayer for the Dying. I like the original cover a little better, with the Crypt Keeper being choked while this awesome form of Eddie is popping out of this grave. There's some stakes to it. There's some horror elements that Maiden really thrives at in the album cover, and Derek Riggs really outdid himself with this one. No, special like Eddie cybernetics or anything like that. It's just back to old school, original Iron Maiden Eddie, kind of showing a comeback from the progressive style of Seventh Son that I think that they were trying to go for.
Right, and I didn't. Until you said that, I didn't realize that they had changed the album cover.
Yeah,
which I'm
they removed
sick of people changing shit. It's absolutely ridiculous to changing shit like that. Like, just, I don't know, was someone offended by it? I don't know the fuck. Maybe the Crypt Keepers Union or something had something against it or something. But absolutely ridiculous that they changed that cover. The cover was cool, and that was the last one that Derek Riggs did for a while.
And I actually have a thing about why the cover was changed.
Go ahead.
The manager, Rod Smallwood, apparently wasn't a fan of the guy getting choked, so he asked it to remove it on the 1998 re-release. So it's Bloody Roderick Smallwood that the band always makes fun of.
I'm actually looking at the old cover right now, and maybe if you look at that cover, maybe the guy that's getting choked maybe kind of looks like Rod Smallwood a little bit. So maybe he thought that they were busting balls on him or something. Yeah. But I remember when I bought this album too. I got it and I was like, and I wasn't even aware that it was out. I knew Adrian Smith was out of the band, but I wasn't aware that the album had come out. And it was one of those surprises, like, holy shit, there's a new Iron Maiden album. So I picked it up. I got it home. Actually a good time. We can get into the songs here. They open up with Tail Gunner. Your good stock and trade Iron Maiden World War II type song.
Yeah,
I think it's trying a little too hard to be brother of Aces High.
Yeah, I definitely feel that on that. They're trying to go for the quick fire Spitfire, if you will, intro that gets you into the album, and maybe that might be my biggest problem with this album is that when they're trying too hard to be back to classic Maiden, and it kind of shows. You can see the strain popping through a little bit, but it does showcase Yannick really well. The guitar work in it is fantastic. Him and Dave Murray really pair well together.
Yeah, the solos are great in it. I like that. I really like the tempo change during the solos on that song. It's a good opener. A little slow at the beginning, but then it kicks in. Good song. It's a good beginning song. The next song is definitely one of my favorite Iron Maiden songs, and it's a short almost 4-minute song. Holy Smoke, written by Steve Harris and Bruce Dickinson it's like an anti-TV evangelist song. It's definitely my favorite song on the album and one of my all-time favorite Maiden's songs. And the video I think is fantastic. I love the video. It shows the band in the studio, in parentheses, studio in the barn. Shows them playing soccer. Shows Bruce out in this big field of daisies with this like really weird pink shirt on. But it's a great video, and it shows. Actually, Steve Harris's dad is on that. He's the guy driving the tractor. That Steve Harris is playing bass on the back of the tractor, and that's his dad driving the tractor on there.
That's really cool.
What's your thoughts on that song, Dylan?
This was the first song that I really noticed the change in Bruce's vocals that really also is present in Fear the Dark in the next album. It's a lot raspier. There's not really the operatic Bruce vocals that you've come to know from Number the Beast on. He goes a little grittier with the vocals, and it really works for this song.
And I think that's one of the main things that this seems more of a hard rock album than a metal album. You don't have that operatic type singing. Now, I'm not saying he's an opera singer, but you guys that are Maiden fans, you definitely know. You could definitely tell the difference in the vocal styles of these next two albums, and because they're like hard rock. It's a hard rock album. They're all like 4-minute songs, one 3 and change, and one 5-minute song. They're a short album. It's good though. It's really good. I enjoy it. And the title track is next. No Prayer for the Dying, written by Steve Harris solely. I think it's got good guitar melodies. The bass is really good in it. When you get that that part in it is really cool. I enjoy that.
The change was a little abrupt for me. Like the change in tempo. Like all of a sudden it gets fast. Like there wasn't really a transition.
There's no transition yet.
I was just like, we're just going right into a fast part. Like there was no build up. It was just like we're slow, then we're fast, and I'm like, okay, take it easy.
Yeah, the solos are pretty good. I don't mind the song. It's decent. I think that would be a good song that would really translate good live for these guys. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so take the next song, Dylan.
The next song's Public Enema #1. It's not bad. It's not my favorite Maiden song. It's a little unremarkable, I would say. Nothing. I don't really have.
Yeah, and it's a rare Dave Murray co-write on this song. It's I agree with you too. It's nothing special. I just have written down it's an okay song. It's nothing.
It's not like terrible.
About.
No.
It's okay. I mean, there's really. I won't say there's no bad Maiden songs. We'll talk about that later, but it's not bad. It's not bad. Fate's Warning's up next. Another co-write by Dave Murray, right in a row there. The lyrics are cool in it. The lyrics are cool if you listen to the lyrics in that song. Great guitar dual harmony, and like in between the solos, there's a really cool guitar harmony on that one. It's pretty good. The harmonies on it are really cool, and it almost serves as a prelude to the harmonies that we're gonna get when the 3 guitars come in, and you just like wish that there was a 3rd guitar in there to really just send it up to the heavens. But it's a decent song to close out side 1, I think. Yeah, absolutely. And talking about when I said there are no bad Maiden songs, I think this next song is absolutely fucking horrible. I hate it almost as much as Can I Play with Madness.
Really?
Almost as much.
Wow.
I hate the part in the chorus. Better watch out. It is so stupid. I mean,
it's a bit repetitive with the
like really
with the title. He keeps saying the title a little too much, but I think it ends really awesomely, like a really powerful, almost like Gangland type ending.
But if you're an assassin, you're not going to say I'm an assassin.
Listen, if we delve into the Maiden lyrics, there's a lot of lyrics that don't hold up.
I know, but this it's
they have
just,
a song about a cross country runner. Like, come on.
I know. Yeah, that's one of my least favorite songs too. But I don't.
Speaking of running, the next song.
Yeah, Run Silent, Run Deep, which is a really good. I really like this song.
This is probably one of my favorites.
It's got it has the vintage Maiden sound to it.
Yeah.
Really cool, going down to Davy Jones and everything. Really cool vibe on the song. The guitars in it and the melodies in it have you at this on the sea.
Mm-hmm.
You could definitely picture the submarines and how they're out there hunting ships and stuff like that. I think it's a really cool song. The solos are really cool in it. Definitely one of the standout songs I think on the album. And then we go to Hooks on You, written by Bruce and Adrian.
Yeah.
The lone Adrian co-write on there. I think it's another part to the Charlotte the Harlot.
A lot of people,
saga.
because it does talk about number 22.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of, gets to that.
It's got a sleazy feel to it.
I hope that this is the only thing that Adrian Smith gave up for this album, because it's not one of the better songs on the album. I don't care for it too much. It's got a cool groove to it.
Yeah, I like the feel of it. I just think the execution is a bit lacking.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Definitely one of the weaker songs on the album. But the next song, "Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter," is a friggin' fantastic song. I think they definitely hit a great mark on this song.
So would you say that this is your favorite horror movie tie-in song? Because it was made for Nightmare on Elm Street, The Dream Child.
Well, it's a hell of a lot better than the Dream Warriors, I'll tell you that.
Let me tell you, this won an award. It won a Golden Raspberry for the worst original song in 1989.
Really?
Yeah, the Bruce Dickinson version. The Golden Raspberries being like the exact opposite of the Oscars, where they award the worst of the worst in Hollywood.
See, I think I heard that version once.
I listened to it.
It's quite different.
It's definitely
quite different,
the
right?
lesser version.
Yeah. But
It's
the
like-
version on this is really good.
Bruce calls it kind of slinky, his version.
Oh.
Which, that's not a word you want to use to describe.
An Iron Maiden song.
Yeah, but I do like this version of it. I always think of the live version where like the audience does the "Fetch Your Daughter" part.
Oh, that's definitely great. I enjoy that, and it comes across really good when they do the Donington show for the video and the album.
It's got that really great sing along chorus that you look for in a Maiden song, like.
Yeah, and the solos are great on there too. I really like the solos on that.
Yeah,
song. Very good, very good. We close out the album with Mother Russia. Soul Steve Harris co-write your, probably, if you want to call it in quotations, your epic Maiden song on this album, which is, it's okay.
Yeah, I definitely get the Russia feel from it, especially like that opening riff. It's very like you can just picture the Kremlin in front of you.
Yeah, and I like the keyboard part in this.
Yeah,
there's not a lot of keyboards on this album.
No,
but I do like the keyboard part on this album. I think it's probably the best fitting part of the song. That or the beginning, the da-na-na-na-na-na, when that comes on.
Yeah,
you could see. You're right. You could see the Kremlin like when you hear that.
Yeah,
and I think that's very cool. But I do love the keyboard part on that. And that did, by the way, come out on October 1st, 1990. And Martin Birch is marked down as the producer on there, but he pretty much, I guess, engineered it. I guess he wasn't there like for he's on the video too. I think he's on there. I think he's the dude with the assless chaps and the Holy Smoke video. Yeah, so they go on tour. It was the
No Prayer for the Road.
No Prayer for the Road tour.
Yeah.
Which they didn't do a whole lot of stuff in the States, I think, for that. But they let me run down this is pretty much a basic set list that they did for this tour. Open up with Tail Gunner, Public Enemy #1, Wrathchild, Die With Your Boots On, Hell Be Thy Name, 22 Acacia Avenue, which is cool that they brought that back, Holy Smoke, The Assassin. Oh my God, I gotta look up to see if there's a video for that live. I would only hope it would be better live. Hate it. No Prayer for the Dying, Hooks in You. Wow, even Hooks in You made it into the set. The Clairvoyant, 2 Minutes to Midnight, The Trooper, Heaven Can Wait, Iron Maiden, Number of the Beast, Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter, Run to the Hills, Sanctuary.
Sounds like they played a good majority.
They did. I mean, it's a decent set list for Maiden, 20 songs.
Yeah.
They did The Evil That Men Do a couple times. They did The Prisoner a couple times. And Yannick would have a short solo at the end of 22 Acacia Avenue. Which is weird because that's like an Adrian Smith song. I consider that an Adrian Smith song.
Yeah. I think an interesting thing about that tour is one of the bands that they had playing with them, Wolfsbane, were playing with them on this tour. So it's a little interesting.
Little get to know you.
The seeds were planted for the Blaze Bayley
emergence.
Rise. Yeah.
In Maiden. Yeah, definitely. Great set list. I would
is
love
a good
to see
set
that.
list.
And if you watch the videos for that and for the next tour, the stage is really stripped down.
Oh, no crazy backdrop?
I think they had backdrops, but there was no like crazy stages and stuff like that. Eddie would come out. I think he would just come out with the leather jacket on again like he had in the early days. I don't think it was a huge production because if you watch the video for Tail Gunner, it's pretty much like a mix of the live and the studio playing, but like live clips. Mm-hmm. And if you look at it's a pretty stripped down stage that they have. And I really think that adds to the hard rockness of the album. I think the stripped down. It's not the big grandiose metal tour take because the album didn't do great sales wise.
No.
And so I think it was just kind of a more of a stripped down kind of feel, even for the tour as the album was.
Mm-hmm.
And so they come off the road, took a little break after that, and apparently in between they made the barn into a proper studio.
A legit studio, yeah.
It's called like Barnyard Studios now, and they had their own equipment and everything, and they started working on Fear of the Dark, which is the first album with no Adrian Smith anything going on in there,
and the first double LP at 57 minutes, almost 58.
It's long. There's 12 songs on there.
And let me tell you, a lot of times you could feel that length.
Yeah, it drags. There's some songs that really drag out on here. Last album with Martin Birch producing, I misspoke on the other one. Martin Birch did produce that last album. With Steve Harris assisting, I guess. And this is the last album that Martin Birch produced. Period.
He retired.
He retired right after this. I wish he had a little better album to go out on. It's not bad, and it's another album that I feel is just a hard rock album. I don't. The only song that really has that. Well, there's actually two songs I think that have an epicness to it: "Afraid to Shoot Strangers" and "Fear of the Dark." But you cannot beat "Fear of the Dark" as a song. It is definitely a staple now in the Maiden set list.
It's definitely the proper brother song of Number of the Beast in terms of like going on a journey and being in the protagonist's shoes, and like it's like walking a dark road, and it's like I left alone, my mind is blank. It's got that feel to it where this person is just scared of what's happening around them, and you just feel the trees.
If you take the Number of the Beast, Fear of the Dark, and Dance of Death,
it's like a
those three songs are like that would be cool to just see them played bang 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 like right in a row. That would kind of be cool to really see, because I really and all three of them are just like epic, excellent Iron Maiden songs.
Sadly, the rest of the songs on this album cannot quite.
Yeah. It starts out before we get into that. It's the last album with Bruce Dickinson.
Yep.
Until 1999. When Brave New World comes out. Not a great album to go out on, but if Fear of the Dark was the last song that, like, say, Bruce didn't come back to Maiden, that is a great song to end on.
The one thing I will say about this album is Bruce does a really good job of, like, taking on the character that's within the song. For instance, like, Chains of Misery, he has, like, this, like, slinky kind of, like, gritty vibe to him. And then, like, Fear of the Dark, he has that, like, it goes back to, like, the operatic, like, voice that you're used to with Bruce, and like he's able to service the song the way it should be serviced, even if he might not have been agreeing with the band on a lot of the decisions that were happening.
Right. All right, cool. Let's go through the tracks. We'll do one by one. We'll get into them. Be Quick or Be Dead. Quick rocker right out of the gate. Great solos written by Bruce and Yannick. Their first single of the album. The video for it is really cool. It's very like a kind of a frantic video, I think.
Yeah.
But very cool.
It is. I think it gets you into the album really well, and it makes you hopeful that the rest of the album is going to match this energy. And it has the Bruce yelling again, which I love. Bruce's air raid siren scream. I love when that happens. And it's interesting that, especially this album and the last album, they go more towards more modern topics. Like this one's about like the political scandals that were happening around.
Right. The last two albums had more political stuff on them, I think, than any other Maiden albums. Up until that point.
Much more current events rather than like historical.
Right.
Or fantasy stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, great song. I love that the solos in it are just friggin' ripping. They're fucking excellent. I really enjoy them. From Here to Eternity, I think is another really good song. I love the video for it. I think it's very cool. They're like on this, I don't know, kind of looks like they're on an island in hell or something like that. And it shows them on the the motorcycle, and the guy's just like kind of like a updated Eddie version of it on the motorcycle. And really good song. I like it. I love the background gang vocals on this song.
That threw me off.
I think they are so cool.
Because I completely forgot that Maiden had gang vocals at one point in their career, because you're used to either harmonies, like Adrian and Bruce in Wasted Years, or just Bruce singing solo. You're not used to like a full gang vocal, soccer hooligan type thing in that style. Usually it's a little more polished, but it's like people, like a bunch of people in a room just like yelling from here to eternity. It
seemed
cool
like it would
that
have
they tried it.
A fun song to record, even, I think.
Yeah.
Just to get everybody together singing all those songs.
And I think, is it Chains of Misery that also has the gang vocals as well? Later on?
I think so, yeah. Then we jump into Afraid to Shoot Strangers, a song about the soldiers' song for the Gulf War that was going on at the time.
Yeah.
I think this is another classic sounding Maiden song. You have the slow beginning, you have the three different tempos in there, the slow, then the kind of marching, and then the rocking version of it, which I think is really cool. And they ended up doing a video later on of this song with Bayley singing.
Yeah.
And I think this is, if you guys have ever watched this video, it's a fantastically edited video. It shows the stages of the war, the slower part. It shows the buildup of the troops and the supplies and vehicles and everything. And then when it gets into it, it starts to show a little bit of battle here and there, and the planes are going in. And then when it kicks in that part, it's like it shows like the explosions and the guys in firefights and everything. I think it's just a fantastically videoed or edited video. It's just really cool, and I like the song. I think it's one of the better songs off these last two albums.
It starts off really haunting, like Bruce's vocals. I almost didn't recognize that it was Bruce, because he like takes on this persona of like a shell-shocked veteran, and like you just feel like creeped out by this song, and the music goes along with it, and you're just like, ooh, I'm kind of disturbed by this, which I think was a little bit of what they were going for, and they really succeeded with it.
Yeah, they definitely succeeded with it, and I like they get the guitar harmony after the solos. I think that is a really cool part of that song too. Definitely one of the better songs in the album.
Yeah.
Fear is the Key. Here's another song. It's about fear of sexual relations. With the AIDS epidemic going around at the time. It was written, I guess, after Freddie Mercury's death, and I guess that kind of sparked a little thought process going on there. And because the one line in it, nobody cares until someone famous dies.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's true. I mean, when Freddie Mercury passed away from AIDS, it really, when he did, and other celebrities like Rock Hudson and stuff like that, when it was always just something you heard about in the background. But when all these, and he's right, one of the famous people started dying from this stuff, then it really got the attention that it really needed. I think
it's really sad that it did take
something like that
to get people, because it almost seemed like nobody really did care. It was just like, oh well, it's not, they're not doing good things, so why should we help them? But that's no way to live, and I'm glad that Maiden picked up on that. And a lot of times they do focus in on pertinent issues, even if it's through a historical lens, through different wars. They're able to take a piece of truth in today's society and push it in through their music. I think that's really cool that they're able to do that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, is one part that I don't like in the song, that little scat part towards the end. I don't like that. I think that brings that down for me in a totally excellent song. It's just got that one crappy part in it that I'm like, this part just sucks. Pretty cool though.
Yeah.
I liked it. It's good. It's got a really, really cool sound to it. Childhood's End. It's got a different, very, very different beginning for a Maiden song.
Yeah, it was this song that I realized I'd never listened to this album all the way through, because I was like, I don't think I've ever heard this song before, and at first I was like thinking I was going to be joking, like, oh, is it the Kiss song Childhood's End from from Carnival of Souls? But it's not really like that at all.
No, it's not. And it does have the great ending, like at the end of Gangland.
Yeah, that is a cool.
The solos are really great in it. Good song, good hard rock song. Like I said, I don't consider this a metal album. I really don't.
I have to say, for this album, if there's like a song that I don't like, usually the solos in it will redeem the song for me, because the solos in this album are fantastic.
Yeah, the guitar playing is fantastic on this album. Wasting Love, an Iron Maiden power ballad,
really threw me off.
Yeah, I remember seeing the video for it. The video's kind of weird, and it has the guy and has the names of the girls he was with written all over. It's I could live without it.
Not your typical Maiden song.
No, definitely not. I'll post the video, you guys. Make sure you check that out. Let us know what you think. I'm not a fan of it, so I'm not going to waste time on Wasting Love. Fugitive, another song.
See, The Fugitive, I think it is very weak to start. Like, the first half of the song, very weak. But there is some awesome parts when it starts kicking in. Like, the guitar work on it is amazing. And I was like, oh my god, this is some of like the best instrumental work that Maiden's done up to this point. But it's like sandwiched in between kind of mediocre
parts of the song.
Mediocre song parts. But like, I just like, I was blown away by the parts that were the meat of the sandwich.
Yeah, and lyrically, it kind of reminds me of a Sanctuary type song.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a tie-in to the show, because they've done like The Prisoner, so I figured they would do The Fugitive, but
it's not.
Not really. There's no Richard Kimball, no One-Armed Man.
Yeah, and we go into Chains of Misery, which I think is one of the better songs on the album.
It's a catchy chorus.
I love the sleazy
it is very
vocals
sleazy.
on it.
Bruce pulls off the feel of that song really well.
Yeah, it's got a kind of a swing feel to it.
It
really does.
It's almost like a slower tempo. What's the song off of Book of Souls that has like a swing vibe to it? Death or Glory. It's almost like a slower tempo Death or Glory.
It's definitely got a little swing to it.
And the gang vocals really work in the chorus, I think.
Yeah, and The Apparition next. That's another song that is. I'm not a fan of it. The solo is the only good part of that song.
I absolutely hate the lyrics of this song. Like it's like
so
friendship is great, and I'm gonna sing about it. Like, Steve, what are you doing, Mr. Harris? Come on, man.
Yeah, I'm just not a fan of that song. But like you said though, the guitar playing on the solos of these albums.
The guitar playing is good.
Fantastic.
I just can't get past those stupid lyrics in that song.
Yeah, Judas Be My Guide. It's okay.
Yeah, forgettable.
I think it's. Actually, I have the list of songs here, and I have 3 songs that you could axe off, and that was one of them. Yeah. Weekend Warrior.
Not the Ted song.
No, it is not. In a million ways, it's not. It's about soccer hooligans.
Yeah. I mean, Maiden does love its soccer. And like Virtual 11, they do a tie-in. They did like a whole soccer either tournament or match where Maiden was a team that they went up against other teams.
Yeah, well, they've always played soccer games on whenever they could.
Yeah.
I know they played Def Leppard a couple times or something.
Mm-hmm.
But that's another song. That's got another X. That could definitely be X'd off here.
But thankfully, they end on the highest note possible.
Oh, definitely one of the epic Maiden songs of epic Maiden songs. Song that is just front to back, just lyrically haunting, sonically haunting.
Yeah.
And just a fantastic song. And I absolutely, positively love Dave Murray's solo. in this song. It is like one of my
Iconic.
probably my favorite Dave Murray solo.
It is really good.
I have ones that I pick and choose that I really love, and it's weird too because my favorite Adrian solo is in Number of the Beast.
Yep.
My favorite Dave Murray solo is in Fear of the Dark, and my
his
favorite Yannick
Yannick
Gear
is in
solo
Dance
is in
of
Dance
Death.
of Death.
That's crazy.
Which is weird, but I just absolutely love the solo in that song.
I'm ruined for the song by the live versions because I love the crowd singing along to the opening riff. I think that Nico adds some really cool drum fills into the live version that really works.
Yeah, I think the version on Rock in Rio is
Rio
probably
is
the best version of that song that I like.
I've said it before, the crowd in Rock in Rio set the bar for how an Iron Maiden concert should be. And like every time you hear people singing along to the riffs, like it's mostly
like
due
Iron
to
Maiden
Rock in Rio.
and their fans invented that shit. I definitely love it. It is a high point. Album cover. While we're still talking about it,
I think it's cool.
it's actually it is pretty neat. It's
a different take on Eddie.
It's dark. It's great. It's not by Derek Riggs.
No.
And I think it's cool. It's a different spin on Eddie, and he's part of the Trees coming out, and but it's it's the first Maiden album that the logo is on the side.
Yeah,
it's not across the top, which kind of threw me off. And I always have, even though there's some songs I don't like on this album, I have some very fond memories of this song. When it came out in 1992, I got it. I don't know when I think stuff used to come out on Tuesday. This one I did get on the day that it came out, and the very next day, I was going to Canada on a fishing trip with my dad, my brother, and my uncle. It was one of my fondest memories growing up. It was the last time that I went on a trip with my uncle there. And I mean, my brother, dad, and myself, we've gone on many golf trips and stuff since then. But it was like the first time we went on a fishing trip, just us guys. And oh my God, me and my dad had such a good time on there. Just a quick story, like you see things, blooper videos and stuff like that. We definitely would have had one of those moments. My dad was trying to start the motor on the boat, and I was up in the front of the boat. He finally got the motor started, and it was in forward. And he went up onto the beach, and it tossed me right out of the front of the boat. So if someone was videoing that would have been, would have had 1 million hits on YouTube or something like that. And it was funny because I was flipped right through the air, and I landed on my back with my head facing the water. I was like, what the fuck? And my dad's like, holy shit. And I just got up. We just started laughing like fools. And we had a lot of fun. My brother and uncle were the serious fishermen, and I just went just to go. And we would be casting into their boats, and my uncle and brother would get all pissed off and everything. It was all fun though. And but I always equate listening to Fear of the Dark with that time of my life. It was because I listened to it constantly, going to bed. I listened to it on the way up on my headphones, and I thought it was absolutely. It takes me right back to there. So I always have a soft spot for this album.
Yeah, I think at times it works. I think there's a lot of material that could have been cut down, could have been maybe tightened up a bit, because there are some really cool ideas on this album, and there's some good lyrics, there's some good musicianship. Yannick and Dave Murray are helping fill the void that Adrian left when he left the band, but it falls flat in terms of a classic Maiden album, what you look for in that.
It does. And I think one of the main reasons it's not a metal album.
Yeah. There's almost some progressive. I think this is a more progressive. Maybe not, but it's almost as progressive of an album as Seventh Son in terms of time changes and in terms of the sonically where it goes. It doesn't have keyboards as much as Seventh Son, but it has that.
Right, because I think it was more of a stripped down sound for them on these last two albums. But it was cool when they toured. Fear of the I don't know even know what the tour was called, Fear of the Dark World Tour. But here's the set list. They played Be Quick or Be Dead, The Number of the Beast, which is unusual because it's like second song in the set. Wrathchild, From Here to Eternity, Can I Play with Madness, Wasting Love, Tail Gunner, The Evil That Men Do, Afraid to Shoot Strangers, Fear of the Dark, Bring your daughter to the slaughter, the clairvoyant, heaven can wait. Run to the hills, 2 minutes to midnight. Iron Maiden, hallowed be thy name. The Trooper, Sanctuary, and Running Free. Cool set list, though. I mean, I would, Can I Play with Madness? I would get that the hell out of there. But, I'm sure there's Maiden fans screaming like, "Are you out of your mind?" But you guys know I don't like that song.
And I believe this is the tour that they had the Donington show at, correct?
Yes.
That was released on DVD and CD.
Which is, I thought it was a great show, and they released, I believe it was Hallowed Be Thy Name live version video from that. Just a really, good tour. And if you look at that stage too, they had the big skull Eddie type head with the bat wings. That was like the main thing in the back. Yeah. That many years later, I believe Avenged Sevenfold copied off of, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, even for their album cover. But Hail to the King, I think it was, right?
Well, no, the self-titled also had the bat.
Oh, did it? Oh, so they copied that right off the bat for those guys.
No, that was like their fourth album.
Oh, okay. I digress as usual.
And they had that. What was that one show that was like they had like the theatrical stuff like Bruce.
Oh, that was the Raising Hell.
Was that like
Raising Hell? That was Bruce's last show.
The last show.
Yeah, they finished the show and he actually walked home from that show, and that was actually pretty cool. And if you have the DVD of that out there, I remember when I picked that up, I remember watching it and I was like, something doesn't sound right. You couldn't hear Dave Murray's guitar.
Really?
It wasn't Mick, because I'm watching it.
Maybe it's because they chopped his hands off in the show.
No, it was before the hands went. But I'm watching it and I'm listening to it and I'm like, what the hell is with this? And it's, I don't know if it's just a glitch or what the hell, but it's actually kind of cool because you could see what Yannick plays. Yeah. You know what I mean? You could see that. So you hear all the chords and stuff that he's playing when Dave is soloing. You could hear it peripherally.
Faintly in the background.
Yeah, but Yannick is the guitar's right out front, and his solos just and that really, unwittingly showcases his guitar playing, I think, but it's really cool. But then maybe 3/4 of the way through the DVD, the Dave Murray part kicks in. Okay. It's not the whole show.
Well, that's good.
But it was weird, and I'm gonna have to dig that out and watch that again. But it was a cool show. They had that. I was gonna say Simon Cowell, Simon something. The guy's name was. He was this illusionist where they did all this crazy stuff. They put Bruce in an Iron Maiden. They, like you said, they cut off Dave Murray's hands, and they, I don't know, they cut a girl in half or something on the stage. But it was weird, but it was pretty cool though. It was cool to see, and mixed in, of course, with the Maiden songs. And
it was Simon Drake.
Simon Drake. I knew it was Simon something, but it was cool. I enjoyed it. It was cool. And like I said, Bruce, that was his last show with him until later on. Later on until 90, I think 98, 99 when he came back.
Yeah. What a terrible person. I think we need to talk about the worst Bruce songs because I'm really mad at him. Like, why would he leave the band? Like, what kind of lowly person
would leave Iron Maiden?
Would leave Iron Maiden? Ridiculous.
Horrible. You got it made, Bruce. What are you doing? All right. You go first then, Dylan. What's your two? I won't say worst. I'll say ones that you like the least.
Okay.
Give me three.
Definitely The Apparition off of Fear of the Dark. We'll go backwards in chronological order. I hate the lyrics of it. Like I said, friendship is not really an Iron Maiden subject in the way that The Apparition covers it, at least.
Right.
I don't think Bruce does anything special in that song. He doesn't go the lengths that he goes on a lot of the other songs, and honestly, I wouldn't blame him for half-assing it with those lyrics. So my second least favorite, Bruce song, "Loneliness of the Long Distance Runner" from Somewhere in Time. Just like the song, it runs on and on.
That's a brutal song.
It's like, I used to like it because I used to be a cross country runner, and I used to listen to it when I ran. And then I realized I hated running, so then I realized I hated the song as well.
It didn't help.
It's just like, it doesn't go anywhere. Bruce kind of drones on the song a little bit, especially during the chorus.
Song is definitely filler. Absolutely filler.
And then my least favorite Bruce Maiden song, of course, is Quest for Fire off of Peace of Mind.
Which is wrong.
I don't like the lyrics. I think it sounds a little childish. It's really weird to hear Bruce go from like really low notes to like the high notes just like in the verse alone. Like it's just like a really sudden transition that throws me off. It's not like at the end of Flight of Icarus where it's like really just like a soaring epic end. It just like kind of happens and then he goes back down to normal. So yeah, those are my least favorite Bruce Dickinson Maiden songs. How about you?
Well, that one's wrong.
Well,
anyway,
we can't all be perfect.
Yeah. I'm going to say The Assassin. We just talked about it. I fucking hate it. It's so stupid. Better watch it. It just drives me crazy, that. And I'm going to harken back to Power Slave.
Harken. Wow.
See, there you go. Back to Power Slave.
Listen, you can't have Big Aura on there. He's not on that.
So. No. When we had had an overabundance of sword fighting songs.
Oh, the Duelists.
The Duelists. Come on, like God.
Yeah, that's. And then Flash of the Blades on that same album.
I would have rather seen them put one of the covers that they did as a B-side on that album rather than another sword fighting song.
Let's see, it's Flash of the Blade, the Duelists, Sun and Steel.
And there's another one too.
I mean, Trooper has a sword in it.
Yeah, but that's the you can't say one bad thing about the Trooper though. And you guys know my other one, Can I Play with Madness? Hate it. I just the only redeeming part is the solo in that. But so Bruce, a couple things you step down on, but
Paul Di'Anno's starting to look pretty good right now.
Paul Di'Anno, I'll tell you what. You listen to them first two albums. There's a lot of quality stuff on there.
Well, what kind of quality stuff? What are your favorite Paul Di'Anno songs?
I gotta. We'll just do two of these.
Yeah. Okay.
Since there's two albums, although both of mine come off of one album. I'm gonna say Wrathchild. I love the attitude that he has in his vocals when he sings that song.
I think it's the highest he goes too during the chain, the mid card part of the song where he goes and goes up.
Yeah, I think that's it's still a great song that translates great. I think it's really cool. I don't know. I like Purgatory too. It's a song that I don't even know if they've even played. I'm sure they probably played it live at some point in time. Mm-hmm. But I think his vocals are really, really good on that song.
Yeah.
How about you? Give me two.
I'm going to go one from each album. From the debut self-titled album, Phantom of the Opera, the first epic Maiden song. Paul really gives his all in the song. It's got a cool feel to it. He adds to the theatricality of it really well, I think. And it's a good song showcasing what Maiden will become. And then from Killers, I'm going to go Murders in the Rue Morgue. I love the pace of that song. He has his delivery is just so edgy and very punk-like, and he gives that edge to the song that's needed.
He does, and that's one of the few songs that I prefer Paul Di'Anno's lyric or singing on that rather than Bruce. I mean, Bruce does it cool.
Yeah.
But I really do, and that's rare because I would like to hear Bruce sing all the songs, but that's one that I really enjoy that Bruce does.
Yeah.
Or that Paul does. Mm-hmm. Good picks. All right, Dylan, let's do a quick jam and then we'll get into the little darker period of Iron Maiden.
Still love it loud? So do we. Rockin' Pod returns to Nashville on Saturday, August 25th. Over 25 rock podcasts from all over North America, recording on-site. Vinyl and memorabilia dealers selling the best in rock merchandise. And awesome rock musicians and personalities participating in signing sessions and on-stage panel discussions throughout the day. Special guests include current and former members of Korn, Kiss, Angel, Winger, Loudness, Accept, Bang Tango, King Tracy, as well as producers that have worked with Slayer, Ozzy, Alice Cooper, Seven Dust, and many more. More guests being added weekly. Don't miss your chance to be part of an awesome celebration of all things rock. Rock and Pod takes place at the legendary Nashville Palace, August 25th, 2018. More details available at rockandpod.com. That's ROCKNPOD.com. The Nashville Rock and Pod Expo. Brought to you by Blind Tiger Record Club, School of Rock Nashville, and School of Rock Franklin, a DBG Productions event.
All right, we'll do the gems. I'll go first this time.
Go for it.
I'm going to do one of my hidden gems is going to actually be an Iron Maiden performance. It's going to be one of the B-sides that they did from No Prayer for the Dying. I'll keep it in the kind of vein that we have going here. They do a version of Zeppelin's Communication Breakdown.
Oh, I do remember that, yes.
Really cool version. I think, Bruce does a great job of it, and the band sounds really cool with the full band playing on it. Just a really cool version, so check that out. It was a bonus track on the 1995 reissue of the No Prayer for the Dying album. It's really cool. I'm sure you can find it online, or if you're a Maiden fan, I'm sure you've probably heard it before, but give it another listen.
I think it's on Best of the B-Sides, isn't
it? It
it?
is on Best of the B-Sides also, yeah.
Because I think that's where I first heard it, was on that. Yeah, it's a really awesome cover. I'm always a fan of Led Zeppelin covers. Godsmack does a good version of Good Times, Bad Times, but I love Maiden doing Communication Breakdown.
Yeah, good. I really enjoy it. What do you got?
So, my hidden gem is a band that I just discovered on iTunes. They just came out with a new album, so it popped up on the new albums in metal. They're a band called Lucifer, and their album's called Lucifer 2. They almost sound like an old school Black Sabbath with Ozzy, with a female singer. They have that kind of feel to it. It's really just old school heavy metal. It almost has a 70s feel to it. Some really cool riffs, and the singer is really awesome. California Sun is a really good song from there. Dreamer has a cool build, starts off slow, and it picks up. It's a really awesome band to check out. I don't know how big they are. I don't know if they've gotten any traction anywhere, but I started listening to them, and I really like them. So check them out. Lucifer.
I'll have to check them out. I might have saw that album on there, but I didn't get a chance to check it out, so we'll definitely check that out. Hey, anything that sounds like old school Sabbath is good in my book.
Yeah.
All right, let's fire back into.
We'll blaze back into.
Let's blaze back into the Maiden saga here, and like we said, that show when they did the Raising Hell, Bruce, it was his last show with Maiden. He decided, he had enough of Maiden for a while. He wanted to pursue his solo career, which his solo career I thought was great. He had some really quality stuff that came out in his solo career. We'll definitely touch on that in a later episode.
Yeah.
But a lot of people feel that Blaze Bayley was just hired by Maiden, and apparently that's not the case. There was an excellent article in Rock Candy magazine that came out. I think it was the May-June episode or edition. I think.
Yeah.
And Blaze said in there himself that he, like a bunch of other singers, had sent in a tape, and he got an audition, and he said he didn't really expect to get the job, but he went to audition for them, and he said, even if I don't get the job, I'll know I did my best, and hey, I was the lead singer in Iron Maiden for a little while.
Bit,
I guess
yeah.
There were 10 songs that they had to learn that they were doing from their current set list. They hadn't written any music for their new album yet, because they wanted to get a new singer in there and have them involved in the full process, and not just say, okay, here's the songs you're going to sing. Maybe give them a chance to write some songs, or at least be involved in the production of it. So I guess he did a second audition, and they gave him the job. He's from the band called Wolfbane. His actual name is Bayley Alexander Cook is his real name, and he had been going by Blaze Bayley and Wolfsbane. I don't know. Have you ever checked any Wolfsbane stuff out, Dylan?
I have not listened to Wolfsbane.
They're okay. They're okay.
I like the name. I like their name.
It is a cool name.
It's a cool name.
Absolutely. And he kind of reminds me of. He looks a little werewolfish, like I think.
He has the side. I think it's the sideburns.
I think it is
the
too.
mutton chops that really do it in.
I think it is too.
They're almost Lemmy-like. Not quite to the epicness of Lemmy Kilmister, but they're getting there. They're getting there. and I think one of the reasons that they got Blaze in is because they didn't want somebody that sounded exactly like Bruce. They didn't want just another Bruce Dickinson in the band because they were going a different direction, and they didn't want the fans to be like, oh, well, even though they ended up doing just this, they didn't want fans to be like, oh, well, he doesn't sing as good as Bruce, or he doesn't sing like Bruce. Well, he doesn't. That's the reason why he was brought into the band, was to switch things up and go a different direction.
Right, because there were rumors that Michael Kiske from Halloween was going to be the new singer. There was a couple different names.
That would have been interesting.
That would have definitely been interesting. Michael Kiske is a fucking phenomenal
That is more towards
vocalist.
the Bruce.
Yeah.
Than,
definitely.
Yeah.
That would be definitely interesting to hear that. And he's still putting stuff out. He's fantastic. He's doing some stuff with Halloween, but even his solo stuff that the Kiske Somerville stuff is just friggin' phenomenal. First album with Bruce. This one recorded
Blaze.
also at Blaze. Yeah, see that? I got Bruce on the mind now.
He's like an ex-girlfriend. You can't get rid of him.
You can't get don't call Blaze Bruce. Okay, don't get mad at you. This is a long album.
It is. And they say that it took a darker tone because
The X Factor, yeah.
Steve Harris was going through a divorce at the time.
Divorce, yeah. This one is produced by Steve Harris at the Barnyard Studios now, like we said, a full-fledged studio with Nigel Green assisting him.
I mean, the cover reflects the darkness.
Yeah.
That is like...
And they changed the logo, too.
They did. They got rid of the
longer ends and the R's
yeah.
on the album. It's more of a streamlined...
for the 90s,
yeah.
Even though we're almost done with the 90s at this point.
Yeah. Came out October 2nd, 1995. And it was more of a... I don't want to say claymation cover. It was more of a live...
Yeah, it's...
I don't know. I don't even know what the hell you would call it. There's two different versions of this one, too.
Yep. There's a pulled back version with a giant X-beam like above.
Behind them and the Maiden thing on top of it. And then there's the
like
closer
the
version,
you can
which
see
is
the brain
which is the one I have on my CD because I did get it when it came out.
It's almost like this album cover is symbolic in that they're completely destroying the name of Iron Maiden. by dissecting Eddie.
We're pulling Eddie apart as we're pulling the band apart.
And as Steve Harris's marriage is falling apart.
This album, my opinion of this album is Sign of the Cross. We'll get into the songs here. Sign of the Cross, I love it. I think that this song should have been the last song on the album.
I was thinking the exact same thing because this is way too long of a fucking song to open an album.
Absolutely. It's 11 minutes and 18 seconds. That is a little long for an opening song. Ted pulled it off nicely with Stranglehold on his first album.
What, 9 minutes?
But back in the 70s.
And it starts off with energy, whereas Sign of the Cross starts off with like a monk chanting thing, and it starts slow, and it kind of builds, but it never gets real fast. It's kind of a slogging song, but good.
I think it's a great song. I think it's
tells a good story.
One of the top 3 songs on the album. I really enjoy it. It's fantastic on Rock in Rio when Bruce does it. I don't mind Blaze's vocals on this, but when they do it for Rock in Rio, it's more of an amped up version of it.
Yeah.
And it absolutely positively translates way better with 3 guitar players.
Yeah.
Live.
Yeah. No, I agree. Definitely the top 3.
It's great. It's a song. I really like the song. Solely written by Steve Harris. One of the better songs on the album.
Yeah.
When I first heard that, I'm like, you can hear the chanting and the Seven Saintly men.
It's a cool, atmospheric start, but it needs to.
Yeah,
you need more energy.
Definitely needs to be the last song on there. Then we go into one of the other better songs on this album, Lord of the Flies, about the William Golding novel of the same name. Great song. It comes across great live with Bruce and Blaze, I think, because this is one of the few songs that they did live when Bruce came back.
Yep.
And it's I think Death on the Road. I think it's actually on that album with Bruce singing it. The tempo kicks up after the solo. Even I think it's a good song. I really enjoy that. Written by Steve Harris and Yannick. Just a cool song. And actually listening to these first 2 songs, you have the epicness of Sign of the Cross, then you have Lord of the Flies. I was kind of hopeful at this time.
Yeah.
Listening to it the first time after, I had all the Bruce stuff, and we had Bruce, from 1982 to 1995, I think it was, that he left. I was hopeful. Like, after hearing Sign of the Cross, I'm like, okay, he's definitely not Bruce, but it's not terrible. It's not terrible. And so Lord of the Flies comes up. I'm like, cool, okay, up-tempo song, very cool. And then another one of my top 10 Maiden songs with Bruce or Blaze singing it, Man on the Edge.
Yeah.
Just a great rockin' song. It's about the movie
Falling Down.
I always vapor lock on that.
It's not like
part.
They say it a million times in the song
yeah,
itself.
I know. But like really cool. They wanted to. You know what? I have Falling Down written as the song title on my notes here. It's Man on the Edge is the name of the song. I apologize for that because that's what they say. Apparently they weren't allowed to call it that or something. They have.
It's a To Tame a Land situation.
Yeah. But I mean that's a Blaze Bayley and Yannick Ear's written song. It's just a ripping song. I think it's cool. The video's kind of crazy.
This, I think, is the best song for me on the album.
Definitely.
And they should have opened with it.
And when that came on, I'm like, wow, this, all right, we're getting there, okay? You know, we're getting there.
Yeah.
And then Fortunes of War happens after that.
That is one of the most repetitive songs I've ever heard in my life.
Absolute dreadful song. I don't like to use that word a lot, but it is. Now you begin the marathon.
It starts the trend on this album where
now you begin the long distance runner.
Yeah, it starts slow. It kind of picks up in the middle, and then it ends slow. And literally every single fucking song.
7.5 minutes of just what the fuck is this? Next song comes up. Look for the Truth. Another down song. Just
at this point, I'm starting to slump in the chair.
You're losing me here, guys, on this one, definitely. The solo's okay.
Yeah.
Another thumbs down. Another 5 minutes that you'll never get back in your life.
Yep.
The Aftermath, anti-war song from World War I. About kicks in about 3/4 of the way through this. So you got to listen to a lot of shit to get to the only good part in this song.
Like I said, it's
only saving grace of the song. There's another 6 minutes.
Starts slow, picks up in the middle,
and
kind of good.
By now, you're like,
slow.
please, guys, please just give me something to hold on to here. Judgment of Heaven. It's not too bad. It's a little more up tempo.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, we're maybe waking up a little bit here, maybe, but not great. Blood on the World's Hands. Another song that. I think this is one of the songs that, for me, solidified that Blaze Bayley is not the guy for Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
The solo is just...
Nada, 1, 2, 3, 4 songs before that.
Yeah. I mean, this one just like, this was the cement, this was the sealer that you put down in your driveway to protect it from the water in the summer.
We're falling down.
Yeah. Edge of Darkness. It's about Apocalypse Now.
Yeah,
is what it's about.
Good topic.
I think it's actually this song I don't mind. I actually kind of like this song, which I forgot that I even kind of like this song because all these other ones in a row, you're just like, what the fuck?
A lot of filler.
Yeah, I think it's really the solos are really cool. There's like fast paced lyrics in it. I actually like how Blaze sings on this song. Check out the lyrics on the end of the song. Really cool. Kind of a saving grace for it. 2 a.m. This song makes you want to kill yourself. This song is like...
the lyrics are really stupid.
But it's like this guy...
on the couch.
He's sitting on the couch. He gets a beer and he looks at the walls and like... This is like a bleak song.
I'm like, are you trying to capture the listener at this point?
When you're bleak, you're bleak.
It's like... oh, this is what the listener must be feeling at this point.
And then we end on another low note, The Unbeliever. At the end of the song, I'm an unbeliever. I can't believe that I actually got through this fucking album.
Yeah.
Just another absolute dreadful song.
And listen, I don't think Blaze Bayley is to blame for the crappiness of this album. I think that he works well with the material he's been given. I think Steve Harris is in a dark
bad place on this
album
at that time. Absolutely.
Because it's such a bleak album. There's no fun in it.
It is. Even just
Man on the Edge gets close to fun, but like
even just the title, like X Factor. The X Factor is suck.
Well, they named it that because they thought that Blaze Bayley would be the X Factor.
The X Factor that would make it good.
No, it's.
But you're right.
Also, it's the 10th album, so.
Yeah, he didn't have a lot to work with there. You know, they toured for it, the X Factor tour. The set list was actually pretty decent for the most part. Man on the Edge, Wrathchild, Heaven Can Wait, Lord of the Flies, Fortunes of War. That had to be a slogging concert. Blood on the World's Hands, another like 2 in a row. You're like, what the fuck? Afraid to Shoot Strangers. That's a cool song. Like I talked about the video for that before. Blaze actually does a good
version,
good job on that version. The Evil That Men Do, the Aftermath, actually the Aftermath. That's one of the better songs. I had to go back and look real quick there. Sign of the Cross, and right in the middle. At least it's not at the beginning. Edge of Darkness, which is actually one of the better songs on there. Fear of the Dark, The Clairvoyant, Iron Maiden, the encores they did The Number of the Beast, Hallowed Be Thy Name, and The Trooper. Not a bad set list.
They did have to cancel some dates though because Blaze's voice would blow out quite often.
That's what they said. And thank God they didn't do like 2 a.m. or The Unbeliever on this tour.
Yeah.
Because that would have just been like we're closing the deal out here.
Something I find interesting, I'm looking at the critical reception, and Collector's Guide to Heavy Metal gives it 2 out of 10 stars or points or whatever you want to say. It gives the next album 0 out of 10, which I think is completely off base.
Absolutely.
Because if I had to choose between Virtual 11 and the X Factor...
Oh, Virtual 11 by a million miles.
It's Virtual 11. Actually, I might choose Virtual 11 over the last 3 albums, if I'm being completely honest.
I like it. I remember when this album came out, and I was like, all right, you know what? Let's just... There were some good moments on the last one. It's Iron Maiden. I'm still going to buy it. So, I would have been kidding myself. I'm going to say I checked out after them. For some reason, I was optimistic about this album, because if you take a look at even the album covers... It's a brighter album cover.
It is.
It's
cool looking Eddie.
Cool. There's a little bit of blue sky in there. The Eddie looks like not a claymation guy.
Looks kind of scary. A little frightening.
He kind of looks like the Fear of the Dark Eddie coming off of the tree, like face straight on, kind of.
Yeah, I could see that.
And I wasn't sure what the little guy with the virtual headset on there
it's the late 90s. It's information superhighway, the interweb, surfing the net. We're starting to get into
all that shit's coming
cyberspace.
I don't think it belonged on an Iron Maiden album.
But
it's the only part of the cover that I don't like. And if you look at the thing, there's a soccer game going on.
Yeah.
On the field.
Well, because the World Cup was happening.
Yeah. It's not the worst cover, but it's.
And around this time, they did come out with their computer game, Ed Hunter.
They did. Ed Hunter was cool, and they did a song for that called Virus, which actually starts another song that just starts out so sloggingly low, and then it kicks in, and it's actually not bad at the end of the song. Future Real. Starts off with Future Real.
This is how you start off an album, Blaze Bayley era Iron Maiden.
Absolutely.
It just... I was listening... I had this in a playlist with the other albums, and The Unbeliever was playing. And I'm like, at this point, I'm falling asleep. And then the opening notes of Future Real come on, and I'm like, oh my God!
Talk about a turnaround.
Thank God!
Yeah. And that's one of the songs also that they did when Bruce came back, Future Real. And I think Blaze's voice sounds a lot stronger. I think it's stronger material that he's got to work with on this album. And I gotta admit, I really, really like this album. There's only one song that I am like, but I like it. I enjoy it. Future Real is just a great straight out rocker right off the bat.
Yep.
I like it's a very Adrian Smith-like song.
Solo one
for
is
an
really
opener.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love the solo.
For an opener song, it's very Adrian Smith-like, I think.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that. It's one of the one of the best Blaze Bayley Iron Maiden songs.
I think this album has like some of my favorite Iron Maiden material. Honestly, that might be sacrilege to say, but like there are some moments on this album that I'm just like blown away by, and Future Real is the start of that journey into me defending the Blaze Bayley era Iron Maiden.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's a fantastic song. The next song, Angel and the Gambler. Some people do not like this song.
And
I love
wrong.
it. I think it's great. I think this song should have closed the album out also. I think they could have moved this to the end. The closing song on this one,
See,
I live without it.
We'll talk about it
that
when we get there. But Angel and the Gambler, I love the keyboards in it.
I do too. I think it
a
sounds
cool
so
sound
cool.
to it. It gets a bit repetitive with the "Don't You Think I Could Save You" part, like towards the end. He goes a couple too many times to the well, but the rest of the song is absolutely phenomenal.
And the solos are kick ass.
solos are great.
Song. The solos totally fit these songs like kick ass.
It takes you on a journey. It has it's much more upbeat. It's fun. It's a fun song, and it's a refreshing change.
Yeah,
from
you're like,
the
okay,
bleakness
here
of
we
X
go.
Factor.
We're on a good roll here.
Yeah.
Next song, Lightning Strikes Twice, which I think is another excellent
We're keeping
song.
the roll going.
Yeah, absolutely. It builds up. It starts out a little slow, but it builds up. But then when it kicks in, it's like bang.
Getting to show his range a bit, like with the chorus.
And it has one of the what I call Yannick Gear's finger solos, were just kind of like loose on the loose and fast on the fretboard. Not using a pick, just like fingers all over the place. I think it's fantastic. It's like a really good song.
Yeah, I absolutely love these first, I'm going to say 4 songs, like to death. Some of my favorite Iron Maiden songs. Lightning Strikes Twice, such a good feel, such a powerful chorus. Really, really awesome guitar work. I love the bass in it. I love the drums. I love everything about this song. And then you continue on with The Klansman, which has become a Maiden classic, I would say, at this point. The freedom, like, you just get pumped up thinking about it. And Bruce, I think, they're still playing that to this day.
Yeah, and that's another song that I think translates really, really good with the 3 guitar players.
Yeah.
Yannick comes out and he starts playing the acoustic on it, and just a great song. He's playing the acoustic guitar, then you get the in the background with the other guys playing, just fucking excellent.
And
it's inspired by Braveheart.
Yes. And if they did the starts out slow, like picks up like the Klansman with the X Factor, would have been a much better album. If they did it more like the Klansman in how it builds.
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
Like more of a payoff.
Absolutely. I love the solos, and there's nothing that I don't like about this song.
Yeah.
I even like the way that Blaze sings it. The chants after the solos are friggin' like just more gang chanting vocals. Really, really think it's cool. Really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Freedom. Just like so cool. And I remember when this album came out, this is when online like chatting and stuff was first starting to come to the forefront, and I became friends with a fellow Maiden fan. He was from like Brazil or Argentina or something like that.
Argentina.
And like that was his favorite song, because he's like, I love the freedom part.
Such a good,
because he was on whatever country he was in, things weren't going that well, and he just like totally associated with that song.
It's an inspiring statement.
It's great, and it's one they still do to this day.
Yeah,
translates fantastic live. Bruce sings it great. I think Blaze sings it great. Just excellent. And I'll tell you, they keep the roll going with When Two Worlds Collide. One of my top Maidens. I really like this. Written by Dave Murray, Blaze Bayley, and Steve Harris. Great song. Great time change for the lead up to the solos.
Yeah.
And the ending chant is friggin' great too. Just an all around really awesome. Great song.
I think that this is probably one of the best Maiden streaks of songs. I mean, of course, leaving out the classic albums because they're classic for a reason, but like from Somewhere in Time on, I think this is one of the best Maiden streaks, because from Future Real to When Two Worlds Collide is just, they're all like seminal Maiden songs, I think, and I think people overlook these songs because Blaze Bayley is singing them, But like when Bruce sings them, everybody's like blown away by them.
I know.
And
but the Blaze versions are very good too.
They are. He has this. I think this album shows the potential of what a Blaze Bayley Iron Maiden could have been like if it continued, especially a song later on. I'm gonna focus on. But
and I think the sales of these last two albums really is what did Maiden in for Bruce, because this was back at the time too when Rob Halford was coming back into Judas Priest.
Yeah, so like everyone's like Ripper sucks, Blaze sucks.
Yeah, but they don't. I mean,
Gary Cherone sucks.
Yeah, and when we said Virtue 11, I think it was the material, and it didn't lend itself. I think the album would have sucked if Bruce sang on that album.
X Factor.
X Factor, I mean. If Bruce sang on that one. I think the material was not as strong. But if Bruce was involved there probably would have been different writing on that. You can't say.
Yeah.
But
I think it's mostly Steve Harris.
If Steve Harris said to Bruce, here's the songs for this album, and Bruce sang them, I still think we would be slagging this out, that X Factor album.
Honestly, yeah. I think the blaming of Blaze is a little unwarranted. I mean, yeah, he struggled touring-wise because those are some tough songs to sing.
They are. But like, and they say that he struggled with the Bruce material, but like, if you're an Iron Maiden, there's no escaping. You're gonna sing that song.
Bruce is gonna.
Sammy Hagar coming into Van Halen. I don't care what anyone says. He had to sing David Lee Roth songs.
Yeah,
but Blaze Bayley had to sing Bruce Dickinson songs.
But I do want to say, in terms of points for Blaze, when David Lee Roth came back into the band, he didn't sing any Sammy songs.
No.
Bruce Dickinson sang Blaze Bayley songs. And he also sang Paul Di'Anno songs. So it's not like it's sacrilege that Bruce Dickinson isn't the singer in Maiden and we're going to forget that era. Good stuff came out of this. And especially on this album, from Future Real to Two Worlds Collide and some of the other songs as well coming up.
Right.
It's classic Maiden. And it's the potential of what could have been.
Yeah. Now we get to The Educated Fool, which, in my opinion, this song belongs on the X Factor.
I think it's the weakest song on this album.
I am not a fan of it.
It gets really repetitive towards the end.
I don't like the chorus.
Yeah.
I think that the songs are like maybe the only redeeming quality of this song. Like the time will flow. I think it's just terrible. It just slogs along.
It's very repetitive.
It's not good. I think that is the most X Factor-ish song on this album.
Mm-hmm.
Don't Look to the Eyes of a Stranger, another Iron Maiden long-titled song.
It's like a combination of Don't Talk to Strangers and Eyes of a Stranger.
Yeah.
But what song do you think I'm gonna say that this song sounds exactly like, especially at the beginning? Did you pick up on a sound alike to this song?
No.
I think it sounds exactly like Heart Shaped Box.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh. Like, go back and listen to it. I think it sounds almost exact. Like, it's very much like that kind of riff at the beginning of Heart Shaped Box. But I love the cool speed up towards the end of the song. I think that,
I'm not a big Nirvana guy, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool and like ending part of the song. Don't look to the eyes of a stranger, and it's about being a parent and seeing bad things and everywhere because you're afraid that your kid's going to be hurt or that something bad's going to happen to them. And I think that's a very real fear, and that really translates well into this album.
Yeah, it's not bad. I kind of like the musical middle part is kind of cool. The solos are ripping in this song. Solos are definitely ripping in this song. Como está, amigo?
Yeah, como
amigos, right? Written about actually the soldiers on both sides of the Falklands War. Mm-hmm. Slow beginning up to mid-tempo. Good song. I think the keyboards accent the song really great on this song.
Yeah.
This song and Angel and the Gambler, I think that the keyboards really stand out really good on that. The double guitar melody is totally expected, though.
Yeah.
Like, because you didn't really have a lot of that on this album, mm-hmm. and I think they were kind of like, we kind of need something here, Maiden-ish, like, guitar harmonies. Totally expected, but the guitar harmony under the solo, I don't know if you really listen to that, it's really good. Mm-hmm. It's really, really good.
I think this shows the
decent way to end the album, but I would have put the Angel and the Gambler there.
I think this shows the potential of what a Blaze era Maiden could have really been, because I think his performance in this song is really like soulful. Heartfelt. And like I was kind of moved by it, and I'm like, if they continued with these kind of songs with Blaze Bayley, like, I feel like they would have been able to keep going for multiple albums, because it showed that this guy like really could bring something out of the music that is different than what came before. And I really like the way that it ends for this, because it's a mournful tune, and Blaze really nails it, knocks it out of the park. And I mean, Angel the Gambler would have been a great closer, but I think the emotions of this song really helped to end the album in my mind.
Yeah, I think I either one I like, but I definitely would have put a little more rocket thing at the end there. Yeah. And what I like about this album too is they didn't beat you over the head. X Factor was like 70 minutes long. This album was only not even like 54 minutes long.
It said what I needed to say and got out before.
It's not beating you over the head with slogging mid-tempo shit. And I like it. It's
a tight 8
It's a
song.
great, and I think I kind of agree with you. I think I like this album. I'll say second best, because like I said, I still have that special place in my heart for Fear of the Dark, but I definitely like it better than No Prayer for the Dying, and it's light years ahead of the X Factor.
The X Factor is definitely, I think, the weakest Maiden album, just period. Yeah. And I can absolutely see why people would, look down. Why BC would look down on Blaze Bayley era, if that's the
here you go, BC,
the picture in your mind.
Blaze Bayley.
But I think the people that, much like Kiss with Sonic Boom and Monster, the people that just ignore the Blaze Bayley era because it's not Bruce Dickinson, are missing some really good stuff.
I think so too.
And I think it really shows when Bruce does these songs live. Because Klansman, whenever Klansman comes on,
people go insane. And
whenever he does Man on the Edge, people go insane.
I would shit if they did Man on the Edge. I've never seen them do it live. I would go out of my freaking mind if they did that.
They're songs that the Maiden fans respect when Bruce is singing it, but for some reason they just look down on them because they're Blaze Bayley songs. Yeah. But he contributed something.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. When they went out on tour, they did. Here's a set list. They did Future Real, The Angel and the Gambler, Man on the Edge, Lightning Strikes twice. So the first 4 songs are Blaze, but it's a great start. Future Real, Angel and the Gambler, Man on the Edge, Lightning Strikes, Heaven Can Wait, The Klansman, Two Worlds Collide, Lord of the Flies, 2 Minutes to Midnight, The Educated Fool, Sign of the Cross, Hallowed Be Thy Name, Afraid to Shoot Strangers, The Evil That Men Do, The Clairvoyant, Fear of the Dark, Iron Maiden, 3 encores, Number of the Beast, The Trooper, and Sanctuary. What a beginning to a show!
That is
and I actually really started watching. There was a video. There's a video on YouTube from Paris, from the Virtue 11 tour. It's good. I was listening to it. I'm like, wow. I'm like, this set list is like kick ass. And even though it's Blaze Bayley stuff, they pan to the crowd. The crowd's digging it. They're getting into it. And I didn't mind Blaze live too much. He stood in the back by the drum riser a little too much, I thought. I've only saw the first 3 songs, I think. But he hung back a little more, I thought, than he should. It didn't seem like he was extremely confident at that. I mean, it was the second tour, but it seems like he hung back a little bit. But the band sounded great. There was a lot of movement on stage where I think, and towards the end, like I said before, with Adrian, they were getting a little stale live. Bruce was running around. I mean, not anything like he does now. He's like a maniac now.
I don't know how he
compared
keeps that
to
energy.
What he used to do. But when it was just Adrian and Dave Murray for a while there, Somewhere in Time tour, Seventh Son tour, I think they got a little, I won't say lazy, but I think they got a little just complacent on stage, I think. More content with just playing. But you could see once Gianna came, there was a lot more, seemed like interaction between the fans and the band on stage. And they keep that up even now. Because even Adrian Smith seems like when he came back, he had more connection to the audience than he had right before he left.
Yeah. I definitely want to look at these live videos because the set list, that set list sounds phenomenal.
I thought it was great. I was like, holy crap, this is cool.
I would love for Bruce to maybe break out some more of the songs from Virtual 11. Maybe bring back Man on the Edge, because I think I only heard a version of that. There was on the best of compilation they put, because for some reason whenever they had a Blaze Bayley song on like the second volume of like the two disc
Fear to Eternity.
Yeah, From Fear to Eternity. They would have Bruce doing a live version of the Blaze songs.
Right, because
so they
like
had
Lord of the Flies is on that live.
Yeah.
Bruce doing it, and Future Real is on one of them too.
And I think and Man on the Edge, and I love the Bruce doing the intro to that where he recites like the lyric of the it's something, a suitcase and
a briefcase, a lunch, and a
man on the edge.
It's a story about a briefcase, a lunch, and a man on the edge.
Like just with that Bruce man on the edge.
But you could tell I think you could tell when Bruce does that live, he enjoys saying that.
Yeah, he's not like looking down on the material like, oh, I'm better than this.
And my thing is I've always felt that a good song is a good song.
Yeah.
No matter who's singing it or I don't listen to a lot of country music. I listen to some Johnny Cash and some older Merle Haggard and stuff like that. If it's a good song, it's a good song, whether it's country or rock or whatever. I don't listen to any hip hop or I hate that shit. But there's a lot of good music out there, and we got some gems out of the Blaze Bayley period. I think people need to give it a little more of a chance. Skip most of the songs on X Factor. It's just that it's a hard listen. You feel beat down by the time you get done listening to that.
Yeah.
But
first three tracks,
good,
phenomenal.
A couple little shining points sprinkled throughout
X Factor,
but nothing earth shattering. Once you get past the first three songs. But Virtual 11, I think it's one of the more upbeat Maiden albums. You would say maybe.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
And I think that one of the reasons that X Factor is the way it is because maybe they thought that the two albums before were more too hard rock than metal. That they wanted to get back to metal. We're gonna, be gloom and doom metal like Sabbath or something like that, and they don't pull it off.
I just think they were in a dark place. They just lost a singer that they'd been with for years. Divorces were happening. I just think that they weren't in a good enough mindset to create like a fantastic album. They're in with this guy that they've never worked with before, making these songs. Some good things will come out of it, but if you go into it with like a kind of a down mood, it's gonna show on the album.
Yeah.
Whatever you're feeling will show on the album. Like Rumors, you could feel the tension in that band,
angst.
But it works for it because they were able to create magic and do a 1 in a million thing. But X Factor, they weren't able to do that.
No, it just didn't work. But I think they really picked up the pace with Virtual 11, and you guys give that album a chance. I'm telling you. And the vocals are not bad on it. They're not, and it's not a slog like the album before. Just listen to Future Real, like Man on the Edge. You've heard, if you're a Maiden fan these days, you've heard the Klansman. Go back and check out the original version of these songs. They're just they're not bad. They're not bad.
There's some Bruce era Maiden albums that I would recommend with like a caveat, like maybe like it's definitely an album of its time, or like these couple songs really suck. But Virtual 11's an album that I would recommend just outright. I don't think the material that's on it is like, I don't think anything, even the Educated Fool is still a decent Maiden song. It's not like terrible. So I would recommend the album front to back.
Yeah, I mean, just compared to the other material on that album, I think it's definitely the weak link. I think that's the song that belongs on the album before.
But I'd like Fear the Dark, I would recommend with like a bunch of caveats. No Prayer for the Dying, same thing. There's some amazing material on those albums, but there's a lot of weak material too. There's
weak stuff on there.
Whereas Virtual 11 is basically strong front to back.
Yeah, and if you like guitar solos, these I won't say 4 albums. I'll say the last two was Bruce and Virtual 11. I think there's some absolutely amazing guitar playing and soloing on those. Even songs that are kind of crappy, the solos just are ripping.
They will save the song.
They're definitely ripping.
9 times out of 10.
Give us your final thoughts, Dylan.
I think that this is a very interesting era for Maiden. It's transitional. It's before what I consider right now a golden age of Maiden with the 3 guitars, and they're going strong. They've had great album after great album, and it's after the classic era of Maiden. It's that that uneven footing. We don't know what's going on. We're going a different direction, and now we have to deal with some rocks in the road. And seeing Maiden deal with that and go through this period and evolve really from a bunch of different musical stylings, it's really interesting to talk about. And I think that a lot of this material should be given a second chance by Maiden fans. People are too down on Blaze Bayley. He's not Bruce, but that's the whole point, is that he's not Bruce. He's something different. It's something new. It's almost a breath of fresh air at that point, because Fear of the Dark has a lot of weak stuff on it, and there's some band fatigue you could feel in that album. But Virtual 11, if you get anything out of this episode, listen to that album. That's all I'm gonna say. Listen to Virtual 11.
Absolutely. I think that to get to where Maiden is now, I think they needed to go through that. I think they needed to have that kind of down period to get up. I think they were getting a little stale with Bruce at that point. And even if you listen to some of his solo stuff, he wanted to do something other than Maiden type stuff. So if you listen to Tattooed Millionaire, not Maiden. It is not Maiden like
completely
at all.
Different.
Yeah. And he's trying to do different style songs. If you listen to Born in 58, you're like, wow, this is like as far from Maiden as you could get. And you can kind of see that he wanted to branch out and try different stuff like that. Thank God for Steve Harris. We wouldn't have Iron Maiden as we know it today if it wasn't for Steve Harris. If he didn't believe in Iron Maiden like he believes in Iron Maiden. Like I said, I think they needed to go through that down period to have the what they have now. And it's come full circle. Once the Blaze period was over, they brought him in. They told him, we're bringing Bruce back. And Blaze had said that he had talked to Ripper Owens about because he had the same situation, and they both agreed that that it needed to happen. It needed to happen for the fans, and it needed to happen for the bands to continue. But there's a couple. The Virtual 11 is a glimmer of what Maiden could have been had Blaze Bayley continued with the band, but you got to bring Bruce back if that became an opportunity, and it did. So they had to bring him back. Yeah. So you guys out there, give it a shot. Listen to the good songs on X Factor. The first 3 songs definitely, and there's a couple good nuggets through the rest of it, but overall it's a tough listen. It's a long album, and it feels probably twice as long by the time you get through those songs at the end of that album. But Virtual 11, very, very underrated Iron Maiden album. I agree with Dylan. I like Virtual 11 better than I like No Prayer for the Dying. And like I said, Fear of the Dark has a special spot in my heart. But just because of what took place when I had that album when it first came out, Virtual 11 is a fantastic album. Give it a shot. Just because it's not Bruce doesn't mean it's not good.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you guys for listening, for sharing the posts. Let us know what you guys think. We have the Rockin' Pod Expo coming up next month. We hope to see you guys there. We have our perks up online. I'll post them again. Help this great cause out. Try some of the perks. We'll get you guys on the show. We'll give you shout outs. We'll send some swag to you. So, check it out and share us with your friends, your buddies. If, there's some people out there that still don't even know what a podcast is. If, you're talking about us and they say, what's a podcast? Let us be their first podcast to listen to. Like I said, share us out there. We're out there where you can find podcasts pretty much anywhere. We have a YouTube channel. We post videos every week. I do melodic stuff on Monday. I do metal on Tuesday. Wednesday's kind of a free-for-all. And then we do build-up videos for the show that we're going to have the week of the show. We post stuff from the show. And just check us out, interact with us. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys listening to us. And we'll see you next time, and there will be a next time.